G'day and welcome back to my channel. Now, I've had an epiphany. Yes. It's an idea that has gestated out of my weird and wonderful mind. Now, two things happened yesterday. I unpacked all my kits that have been in storage since I moved, since I moved down the mountain, because just hadn't got around to it. I mean, I got all my ships out, put them in the living room, admiring my ships, but all my tanks and my aeroplanes and some of the other minor kits, they're all still all boxed up and I hadn't even looked at them. I sort of would fear that a lot of them were broken, and a lot of them were, but thank goodness the ones that I treasure were still okay. But as I started to unpack them, I would get a feeling with each kit, like, I'd remember the joy that I had with it, or I'd remember the frustration and anxiety with the build. And I sort of, started to get this whole thing rumbling down in my nether region, the fizz between my legs. And then I went to club. And at club, I bought two new models. Yes, I know I'm not supposed to be buying things, but I sold one, and I'll explain about those in a moment. They're simple kits. They only cost me $5 each. And this whole thing of simplicity, of going back to fun, which I often talk about, started to really coalesce into an idea I'm excited to share with you. Well, I'm going to share with you. So, this is going to be the Unbig Gooch, where I'm going to discuss these big complex models that we started to make because we could afford them, because they're available, is it really fun still? I don't think so. I think there's another definition of fun in this hobby, and I want to talk about that. Roll the music. So, you may be thinking, what the hell are you on about, Harry? What is it that's got your jollies? Well, look, as I said, I went to club. I sold one of my old Wassa kits. I had two. I did a video on that where I compared an old version, new version, and I just sold off the old version for what it cost me for the newer kit was actually an older kit. Like, it's very confusing. I had the red box Wassa, and Bernard had found me a white box Wassa some years ago, and I got that for like $20. So I sort of sat with both of them, did the comparison video. Then I went, no, I like the old one. The old kit was better for me. Better plastic, better times, maybe a bit of nostalgia, who knows. So yeah, that's what I did there. But what I picked up was, it's a Byrene, okay, $5, half a shekel. And I picked up another Bulldog, right? Now, if you remember, I did the comparison video between the new release 148 scale Bulldog by Airfix, and I did an old little blister pack one, right? Try to say that with your teeth in. On a Sunday morning, it was a bit chilly. So I compared the build of the two of them. How much fun was it to build? And I enjoyed the old one more. But there was a problem with mine. Once I'd actually got it out of the blister pack to see what was going on, the fuselage was all warped. But I've got a nice straight fuselage in that box, and it only cost me half a shekel, so I'm happy. I'll be able to build the Bulldog again because I enjoyed the build. Now, there's the thing. Why would I build a kit straight away again, only like a month or so after I built the kit? Because I enjoyed it. Because it was fun. It was back to what the hobby was all about for me. And when I looked through all those kits in my cabinet, and as I pulled them all out and put them in my cabinet, right? And as I went through them all, I sort of thought, some of these more complex ones, they were good. They were okay, and they were good for exploring techniques and doing things. And you do one. Like I do one really complex tank with lots of thing. But why would you do 20? I wouldn't go back and do it again. Now, this is my criteria for fun. Would you go back? Would you do it again? Now, if it's yes for something that's really complex, then you might as well switch off now. Maybe this video isn't for you. Because my definition of fun was the enjoyment of the build. Was I involved in the build? Did it do something for me? And by the build, I mean actually the construction. When it comes to the painting, well, that's up to everyone, the level of painting you want to put in. And that's often been my criticism of Tamiya. Well, observation of Tamiya, right? Tamiya kits are great, but they're, for me, too easy to build, right? And the build for me is the thing. I want some things in the build that may be a little bit wrong and a little bit adjusting so that I can actually sink my teeth into it and I can fettle the build, and then the result, which works, is my effort, not some engineer in Japan, right? And look, if you don't care about that, if all you want to do is slam the build together, then I understand. That's fine. But it's not me. And this is my channel, and we're talking about me. Big surprise there. All right then. Let me explain this in more detail. An old Airfix. Actually, this is like a 90s series one anyway, but the blister pack one that I built, it was a 1970s kit, all right? Now, why would I like that rather than a brilliantly engineered, highly detailed, brand new one? Well, okay, there's a bit of nostalgia in it. Okay, I will admit that. But if the kit is too easy to put together, click, 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 right? I'm not interested. The kit is too frustrating, like the Airfix 148 Bulldog was too frustrating because they had all these unnecessary things that really just pissed me off. I want something in the middle, right? I want something that is relatively easy to build, that's reasonably well engineered, all the rest of it, but there's a little bit of involvement from me and the chance that I can modify things, that I can adjust things, all right? Now, this is what happened with this one, okay? I built it while sitting there at club. Quite happy, chatting away to people, building away. It was slightly warped. There were things that needed doing. It was ridiculous sort of hella kit, tiny size, right? Absolutely tiny. But I just bought it for something to do at club. Well, I had to because I'd taken the Amerigo Vespucci to work on, right? Well, I'd taken the box, but I forgot the hull and the masts and everything and the superstructure were on display in my cabinet. And so when I got to club and I opened up and I went, okay, I'm going to work on the Amerigo Vespucci, get that finished, I went, I've got all the yards, the bits and the greebles, the ring, but I don't have the ship. So when I've got a kit to build. And then I looked through the tables that people put out stuff for sale, right? And I was selling my Wasser and the Wasser sold, which was really good. So I had a budget. I sold the Wasser for $20. So I had a budget of $20 to blow on kits if I wanted. But I bought just two $5 kits. And one of them I built. So it's sort of done. I don't need a bit of paint. Oh no, I'm going to do an antique type thing with it. I'm going to do something different. And this, to me, is what it drills down to. Sure, you can have a really complex model and you can do tons of photo etch and you can spend hours on it and you agonise over it and the thing drives you insane and then you finally get a result and that's an achievement, okay? I won't take that away from anyone. That is an achievement. I've been there, I've done that, right? I know what that's like. And yeah, it's hard work and you push through and you get there. But hang on a sec. This is a hobby. I mean, in my job, I'll push hard. I'm really hard on the CAD and working things out. It's taking me 6 months to do these bloody rat lines and get them all organised and lots of sleepless nights trying to figure out how to bloody get the thing to work, within the limitations of the material and the technology and, and my sanity. Sure, in my job, I'll push myself that bit harder and I'll, really get to sort of what I want to do. But when I want to relax, when I want to zone out and enjoy sort of my time, that's what my hobby is for me. I don't know if that's what it's like for you. I know a lot of people go, it's always work. Building models is always work. And I've said so many times, if it's bloody work, mate, then piss off and do something else for a hobby. Take up knitting, I mean, why are you doing it? You're doing it because you like the problems, you like the anxiety, you like the issues. I mean, people sort of always have this argument against Airfix, because the Tamiya kits fit so well, and then they say with Airfix, I wouldn't put up with badly engineered kits and, lousy moulding and everything. Generally, they're not. There is a series of Airfix that came out, late 80s, 90s out of France, and probably the one there is sort of on the edge of that. And they were bad. They were badly pushed out by, old moulds pushed out. And there's even some Airfix kits today which are old moulds, and they were pretty dreadful. But Airfix has addressed this with their classic range, right? So it's going to be a little bit of work. It's not an easy put together kit. It's an old kit, old style. You have to engineer it yourself. And this is the thing. Is the modern world all about instant gratification? Maybe that's not a Gen X, but a Gen Y and a Gen Z thing. Instant gratification. I want it now. I want it easy and I don't want to work for it. Don't know. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Gen X and baby boomers like myself, we sort of came into the hobby earlier. Admittedly, there's a lot of Gen X that only came into the hobby from Tamiya. I didn't know about Tamiya until basically 10 years ago when I bought my first Tamiya kit. And there's a video about that where I went to complained about it. Right, I was used to Airfix. I was used to balsa planes. I was used to fettling and doing things and messing around. And that was fun. Fun for me was getting involved, was using your imagination, looking at the thing and sort of a little bit of problem solving, but nothing too complex. A kind of creation, like pottery or something. You're just creating, you're doing something. The end result does not have to be scale perfect. The end result has to be what I want and what I enjoy. It's creativity. So, what are the kits that I feel I've been most creative in building? And they always drill down to the kits that I had no pressure, no expectation. And I'll give you 2 examples, both of which are when I've returned to Brisbane and things were tough. The first time I came back to Brisbane, as far as my modelling career goes, it was just a disaster. The place I went to, I was hoping to come to Brisbane and had this cheap unit to rent. It was my girlfriend's daughter's unit, and I was going to have it for a song, and I was going to save up all this money, and I was going to buy myself my own house, right? Sick and tired of all this renting. I wanted to buy a house. So I got this place, but I hadn't lived in a flat in years, and this was like West End in Brisbane. There was too many people, too much going on. There was just people in my face all the time. It wasn't me. I was used to living in the country, you know. I was used to leaning out the window and patting a bloody wombat or a cockatoo or something, right? That's a bird, not yeah. And so I was not used to all these peopling, and it's just too much. So eventually I found a better place. I moved and, found a better place in Brisbane. But when I first moved there, and I was so depressed because I'd realised I'd made a mistake, this wasn't me. I was not an inner city flat person. It didn't work. Just didn't gel with the kind of person that I was. I was used to the quiet of the country. So I started building the Bounty, right? And I didn't film it. I just built it for me. In fact, I only did videos which were reviews and things. And I was building the Bounty every day for a couple of hours, with no expectations, no plan, just picking it up and going, what can I do next? And I had plans of the Bounty and everything because I knew the Revell kit's not very good, right? But that's okay because I wanted to fiddle with it. I wanted to play with it. I didn't know how far I was going to take it. There was no need. There was no finish line, right? There was no, I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to fold this bit of PE. None of that. I just went, here's a kit, got some spare plastic here, got some drawings. What could I make? What could I create? And this is the thing, I created little cabins and things, and I redid, fighting platforms and what have you, and I built a whole lot of new headrails on it, and I just did all kinds of stuff, right, all the way through. I totally transformed that kit. And then I really got into it, started doing some videos, and I got into all the rigging. I did more rigging than I've ever done before, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I took my time with it. It took me about a year to get the thing rigged on and off. But I thoroughly enjoyed the build from yo to go because there were no expectations. I was not trying to achieve anything. Didn't even think I'd ever put it on YouTube. It was just going to be a fun build for me. Now, the second build lately, right, there's been a lot of them, but the second build lately that you probably would have seen, a few of you that watch the videos, was the junk, right? Now, with the junk, again, turned to Brisbane, absolute disaster. Cyclone hits, there's floods, there's rain, there's power outages, everything goes wrong. Right? And I'm going, oh no, what have I done? The curse of moving to Brisbane. It's happened again. It's happened again. So when things sort of settled down and I sort of had some time to enjoy my hobby, I did a bit of a poll and sort of asked people what kit they'd like me to build next. I said, let's do something quick and easy. So I posted a list of a whole lot of easy sort of kits, which ones I thought were easy. And my patrons, my YouTube members voted. And the one that came out was the junk, okay? And then I thought it'd be just an easy build and I'd just sort of throw it together. But again, no expectations, just thinking I'll just do this quickly and, it'll just be a thing that I'll do. Because it's not accurate. It's really a bit of a joke kit in some ways. It's kind of like a junk. I ended up making it look more like a junk, right? I, again, did some research and went, what sort of colours can I do? What can I do with it? And I changed it and I painted it and I had fun doing the deck. I used all the things that I enjoy, right? To some people, it looks kind of complex, but for me, I was just having fun. I really did not have much of a plan, not at first. It wasn't until I'd got the deck and I'd worked out the red sails, and I was doing the green on the hulls, and went, hang on, I can see what it's doing now, I can see where it's going. And then I had a path and a plan, and I worked that through. And the rigging on it was really easy. I mean, I looked at, could I do the complex rigging? I thought, no. That's not the criteria for this. This is not an accurate kit, and the accurate rigging I could do, but that would take me another month to do. And I know people don't like rigging videos. They just, well, there are a small percentage that enjoy them, but most of my viewers just couldn't be bothered seeing me tie knots. It's just boring, right? Might as well watch paint dry. Although one guy said, I'd even watch it if you just painted a wall. But thanks, mate. The thing is, I did that kit for me. I did that kit because it was fun. It wasn't on my list. I've got all these other things that I want to do. There's Warspites and Sadalists and all the rest of it, which are kind of complex builds. Warspite, not so much, I just about finished it. But the Sadalist has quite a lot to do on that. And I hope my eyes can cope because my eyes are shot. And this is the other thing too now. I've got to build to the limitations of my health. So let's just sum up with that. My health. Now, I'm getting old, right? I'm getting old. I'm already past that Beatles age. You know the Beatles song? Will you still feed me? Will you still need me when I'm in the floor? Yeah. 64. Yeah, 64. I'll be 65 this year. Yeah. For those of you that often wonder how old I am. Yeah. And I'll be my pension in another year or two. Right? So that's basically where we're at. And the thing is, modelling's been great, but first I needed my 3X glasses so I could actually see where I was going. That's my second prescription pair. That happened like about 10 years ago. When I came back to the hobby, I realised I couldn't see the small parts. So I started, wearing little magnifying glasses from the chemist, but they were crap because one of my eyes is different to the other. So I got prescription glasses, and then they lasted nearly a decade. And then I've got the new ones, and I did a video about that, about how they're great, but I've got to be very careful I don't overuse them because they overcompensate and overstress my eyes so that when I actually go to other stuff, I can't see anything. I couldn't drive my car. Everything was blurry. So those are only hobby room magnifier glasses when I'm modelling, right? And that's fine. They're good for that. My hands, yeah, with the gout that I can have hand tremors sometimes, but if I have a hot shower in the morning, and usually I'm better in the mornings, my hands are pretty steady, okay? But it can come in the afternoon, I can't do a thing. I can't rig in the afternoon, I'm trying to bloody rig, and it's just impossible. Right? I've got the wobbles, and that's just how it is. That's fine. So I do other things. I can do my computer work, which is sort of easier because you're hitting a keyboard. So I can do my computer work in the afternoon, do a bit of CAD because my mind's still working. This is the worst part. This is sort of, I can imagine with people that sort of have dementia and everything, your mind is probably still working. Your mind is still going, but you can't kind of express yourself, or you can't get things out. And that, I can imagine how frustrating that would be, because not that I've got dementia yet. Well, I don't think I have. But you never know. Both my parents had dementia, but they both lived into their late 80s and 90s. So, don't know if I'll be around that long. Who knows? You can imagine me still doing videos in my 90s. Hello there, kitty. Hello, kitties. How are you? Yeah, today's video, I'm going to try and stay awake. This is the thing. I'm going to do things in the background that I enjoy that maybe are not worthy for YouTube, right? Or they're not fun for YouTube. They're fun for me, okay? Fun things for me. Fun things for me are things I can sink my teeth into, things where I can be creative, things where I can add myself to the build. And that's the thing. And often, they're just simple kits. Right? Even though it's a tiny one, there wasn't a lot of parts, there wasn't much to it. It was pretty simple and easy to put together, but there was a fettling required because the parts didn't fit, it was warped and the rest of it. And that's where the creativity and basically the craftsmanship comes into it. And maybe that's what I'm on about. Maybe it's the craft, right? I enjoy the craft. So if I can put craft into it, right? It's not just a click together build and then paint. I'm a painter, but I'm not a happy painter. I don't want to spend hours and hours and hours and hours painting. In fact, you'll notice, you watch my videos, all my painting techniques are quick. They're simple ways of doing things. You get a result, that's it. To me, that's the thing I want to do quickly, not the build. The build, I want to take my time and have fun. So, I don't know if I've explained it fully. To me, I've got it in here, but I don't know if I've got it out there. Let me know if you've grasped what I'm trying to say about fun. A thing must be fun. And maybe the yardstick, as I said, is, would you, when you finish that kit, build another one straight away? If you would, you had fun, and the next one will be fun, right? If you go, no, I'm going to leave that, I might do one in a few years' time because, got it done, but then it really wasn't fun. And that's okay. You can do some non-fun kits, but I'm just talking about fun and the criteria of fun. All right, look, if you made it this far, I thank you. And the bottom of the screen here, there are buttons. There are buttons. You can push those buttons. The buttons are fun, quick, and slam it together. And if you really want to help me out, you can always buy me a curry because, basically, I live on chocolate curry. It's why my body's falling apart. All right, that's all I've got to say. Baska slept through this entire video. In fact, yesterday, because it was a club, she was out running around everywhere. And today, she decided the sun's out. She wants to go out and run around. Might have a boyfriend. Might be out there, I don't know. She wanted to go outside. She's really keen on it. All right. I will talk to you next time. Hopefully, we will have the build of the war float that we're promising. I will get to it. All right. Goodbye from Australia, and it's hooroo from Harry and Eddie.